Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to and what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be f***ing sour, take a cold shower, scream until you're louder, work until you're prouder, and f*** all the doubters, they're just your downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought.
I can tell you that 7 years after Freddie Gray, that was 2015, spring, April, May. This is 2022. Communities like Sandtown, all we saw then and now in terms of investment was a renovated Western District Police Station and a new funeral home. That's what West Baltimore got. A new police station and a new funeral home. What kind of optics are they? Was Freddie Gray any different than 1968 Baltimore riots? Dr. King's passing, killing, murder? This is the same?
No, it wasn't. I mean, I think, well, first of all, people who are being violent and burning, that's, you know, all that's the same. But the point is what was the cause and what were they attempting to register?
I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns. They deserve an ounce. It's got next. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns.
First name's Donnie, last name's Glover, in it to win it for the long haul, baby. Listen, one of the things that we push on this show is Black business enterprise. In the vernacular of our elected officials and our political representatives, the term that we use is MBE, Minority Business Enterprise. Now, let me be the first to say I object to the term because I am not a minority. I'm a Black man who happens to be in America. And while they tell us that we are 13% of the population, we are 50% of the prison. So I think we might be a little more than 13%. Be that as it may, that 13% has made one hell of an impression on the world. But growing up in a Black family business, and you pick up a copy of my book, I Am Black Wall Street, I know that business is the backbone of any economy, any community, any city, any country. If your economy sucks, then your country probably sucks. If you got a booming economy, and I'm thinking about the Black community, then you can hire people in your community. Nobody, Boyd Rutherford has said this himself, the Lieutenant Governor of the state of Maryland. Nobody hires Black people more than Black people. And it's a universal thing, be it Africa, be it the Caribbean, be it the United States. Nobody hires more Black people than Black people. So collectively, if we have $1.6 trillion in annual disposable income, this tells me that any Black business worth its salt ought to be able to stay in business and succeed. If you have a viable product and or service in America, and your customer service is standard, shouldn't have any problem succeeding. The challenge is where we spend that $1.6 trillion. So if we shifted a little bit more each month to Black businesses, as advocates have shown us, as they have demonstrated from Marcus Garvey to Nipsey Hussle, then we'd be better off. Anyway, I'm going to get to our guest for today. His name is Alfred Isaacs, and I'm here to tell you that he is the guru in the realm of minority business enterprise, which I prefer to call black business. Good morning, Mr. Alfred Isaacs. I should say Wagwan.
Good morning, Donnie. How are you today?
You know, we have the first black governor here in the state of Maryland, Alfred Isaacs. And my understanding is that he has roots, same place you come from.
Yes, I was recently informed that his mother is a Jamaican immigrant. So he knows Jamaica from going back to, you know, my kids are first generation Jamaican American. So they always go back what we call home. So therefore they call it home because the culture is in the house. The culture is not in the street. So whichever the dominant culture is in that household, that is what the child grows up with. My ex-wife and I are from Jamaica. Therefore, they refer to Jamaica as home because their parents refer to Jamaica as home. So, as I said, it's all depending on which is the dominant culture in the home. Because it starts in the home. Starts in the home, it goes to the community, it goes to the county, then the state, then the nation, then the world. Everything starts at the nucleus, the home. So if we fix the home.
So for the sake of us Americans who know very little about Jamaica, why don't you tell us about your country?
Okay, quick points. Jamaica is the only country in the world that does not have red, white, or blue in it. No other country. Every country has red, white, or blue in it. Does that make us unique? We think so. We have 3 national heroes that were ex-slaves that revolted.
Nani
is actually from Ghana. She didn't come as a slave. She came as a captive African. We don't consider her a slave. She never had been transitioned into a slave mentally. It's all up here. So, start with that. Paul Bogle, he said, take me, but the struggle still continues. So they hung him. So that was the example. If you want your freedom, you have to be willing to die for it. Now, the other, Gordon was, what is considered a product of colonialism. Mother was a slave, father was not. He was the only son. He was sent to England. He was educated, and he came back. But his roots were in the culture of his country, so he kind of turned against the system.
So one thing Americans are not aware of, generally speaking, is that Jamaica paid homage technically to England.
Still do. We're part of the British Commonwealth system. So when you go to court, it's the Crown versus. It's not the Constitution of Jamaica, and people are trying to change that.
And help me out here. So the Crown. So that means that your educational system is based on England.
Right. No, I was informed the other day that because of the situation of Jamaica, we learned the Queen's English. So we don't speak English with a Jamaican accent. We speak English with the Queen's. We learned the Queen's English, not the British English, the Queen's English. So with the chart.
What's the difference?
It's the way you pronounce words. Like I would say to you, good afternoon, not good afternoon. It's the way you pronounce words, the way you construct sentences. People say that I sound white. That's the way I was taught to speak. It's not a matter of sounding white.
If anything, I would say what I've come to hear from Jamaicans is the similarities with the British English.
Yes, that is what we're taught. We're taught the Queen's English. So we picked up accents from, you know, like Liverpool and those port states because of the slave trade. But our English was the Queen's English because, you know, and what was told to me was they had time. And in Africa, you have dialects, you know, you have what the tribe speaks, you have what the nation speak, you have what the country speaks. Then you have English on top of it. So they learned English to communicate. So that is why most individuals from Africa have an African accent with the English. It's just a different type of colonialism. Plus, Africa is so large that they couldn't concentrate on. We didn't have a language.
So I'm gonna be a little facetious here. I heard that you were terribly upset when the Queen died.
The Queen of England.
Actually, I heard African peoples across the diaspora saying, "Give us back our stuff that you stole."
Well, yes, there are certain things like the crown jewel.
They weren't crying. They weren't crying.
No. You have to understand that she was the last of the colonial isms. She was the last.
You said last of the slave owners? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Colonialism.
Oh, okay.
Bob Marley says mental slavery.
Same thing.
Yeah. So you know, when she decided to go, then everybody said, okay, it's a new day. And the truth of the matter is, it's the technology that has caused a lot of problems for the establishment, because you can fact check, you can verify, like in YouTube, you know, I can pause it and you make a statement, I can pause it and do a Google search. So the information that is being said can now be filtered.
Okay, let me keep you on point. Nanny the Maroon Queen, why do people need to know, especially Black people in America, what do we need to know about Nanny the Maroon Queen? Is it true that the British soldiers went after her? They shot bullets at her. She flipped her backside around. The bullets come back and knock them down.
No, Nanny was, we call her a queen,
She's on a
because
$500 bill.
Yes, she's on. Yes, because when she came here, it's rumored that the movie African Queen, that she was from that tribe of women warriors, and a lot of Jamaicans descendants came from the so-called troublesome slaves. So the ones that gave trouble on the ship, they dropped them in Jamaica because we're an island. Where could they run? No. I have been told.
No. So let me tell you what I heard. I heard they put the rowdiest slaves off the boat at Jamaica.
Same thing. Yes.
Okay.
Because it was an island. Where could they run to? It's an island. United States is, put it this way. Jamaica can drop in Florida and disappear. Think about it. The country of Jamaica, you can drop it in Florida and it would just disappear in terms of size. One state.
The Jamaican man told me in Jamaica, he said, nobody hustle more than a Jamaican hustler. He said he have 14 jobs. And he said he starts 6 o'clock in the morning when the sun breaks.
Yeah, well, the object is Jamaica is a male-dominated society. Therefore, the men are very egotistical, and providing gives them merit and worth. So they might have 3 or 4 kids from 3 or 4 different women, but they'll do whatever it takes to provide for them because they are the man.
Okay.
So the hustle is.
Why the American women always want to go to Jamaica?
The accent.
Ain't no damn accent.
I was told That with a Jamaican, when a woman hears a Jamaican accent, she thinks about white sand, cool Caribbean water, a drink with an umbrella on it, and somebody putting suntan lotion on her. What can I tell you?
I ain't sending my girl down there. I don't trust y'all ass at all. Okay.
Yes.
Let's fast forward to minority business enterprise.
Okay.
What? Now, first of all, I presume you are excited that we
The
not only
possibility, the
that we not only
possibility.
have our first black governor, but he has Jamaican roots, and that would instill in me, presumably, a certain level of confidence.
Yes, yes, yes. He has the ability to look at the forest and see the trees. Because culturally, if you are in the forest, sometimes you are so close to the tree, all you see is wood. So if you have the ability to step away, step back, and look at the total picture, your perception of reality is different. Therefore, your attitude and your plan is more strategic because it encompasses the whole and not just a branch. No, that is the Queen's English. So, yeah.
How do we encourage this new governor to get us to now the minority business enterprise? Black people, minorities are supposed to get 29%. The goal is for them to get 29% of the contracts. Now, black people being 30% of the state, to me, that 29, 30% represents a number that we should be getting automatically.
Well, it
But it ain't
depends.
happening. You're getting more like 2%,
Well, put it this way.
like New York City.
If you look at the program and you update the program and you ensure that local owned businesses, I'm not talking about businesses in DC, because they have their own special. I'm not talking about other states around Maryland that have their own individual programs that they basically do set asides for their community. If you look at what I call the resident owned businesses, people who live in Maryland, work in Maryland, pray in Maryland, shop in Maryland, are supposed to get preferences of anybody because we are the tax base. Simple.
Okay, so what's been the problem, Alfred? We got all of these black people in high positions. Why hasn't it happened? Why are we at 2% and not 20%, 15%? Why haven't we been getting the contracts? Who's been doling out the contracts? Are they overlooking black people? Are they making it unnecessarily difficult for black people to get these contracts? What is the problem?
No, previously I've spoken about the disparity study. It's on the website. You can just put in Maryland disparity study and you'll see.
I know the disparity.
No, hold on. Read the recommendations. Now, if this governor looks at the recommendation and decided that, okay, let's institute these recommendations, then it moves forward. The recommendation says African American males do not get the funding that other groups get. African American males, the funding for their businesses. So we address that. You address the ability to get training. You address all of these things. You facilitate growth. If you facilitate growth, there will some that will grow, and there are others that are comfortable in where they are. It's like a race. Somebody has to win, and somebody has to come second. Those who train harder to win either come first or second. So it's not for everybody, but
if you can't get in the gym. And we've
That
been
is
brought
why I'm
outside
not.
the city.
No, I understand that, but what I'm saying to you is that it has been documented and it has been approved by the legislation, because when we do the thing, we write the program and we do
What's been
state
approved?
the disparity study.
I don't
If
care
you
about
go,
that.
no, 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 hold on, let me finish. Let me finish. If you go in to the regulation and look at how it is approved, the legislation says there is disparity. Therefore, the program continues. Hold on, wait, wait, let me finish. If the statement is there, then where is the action to remove it? No, the action comes from the head, the brain, the eyes. So if the new governor coming in looks at the disparity study or have somebody analyze that says, hey, let's have a plan to let's meet these requirements. The next disparity study, which is now coming out, won't have the same justification. I still say that it is the best game in town. Why? Because you pay a couple $1 million to get information that you already know is true.
You talking about the disparity study? You saying
the disparity study for the last 2 years have the same thing. Where is the action plan based on that statement that there is disparity? Where is it?
The disparity study today is the same one it was 10 years ago. Ain't nothing changed.
If nothing has changed, how can the disparity change? Cause and effect. If there is no cause, there is no effect.
So they don't need another disparity study. They just need to follow the recommendations of the one 10 years ago.
Implement the recommendation and let the chips fall where they lie.
Why haven't they implemented the recommendations? Why hasn't the state of Maryland implemented the recommendations?
That is I don't know what the budget is, 300 million or 300 billion. I don't know. That's the question. That's the question.
That's your question.
That's the question. That is the question to ask. Why? Not what. Why?
Why has the disparity study not been followed?
The recommendations have not been implemented, because when you look at the two previous disparity studies and you look at the MBE program and the DSB program, they are identical because it's the same group of people.
So let me qualify this. You are MBE expert in New York, Maryland, Florida, correct?
Yeah.
So you're not just familiar with Maryland. You actually help Florida get up to par on their MBE numbers, correct?
Right. We're able to, and I never say I say we. We're able to identify where the disparity is, basically the same reason.
Did Florida listen to you?
Miami-Dade did.
Miami-Dade County.
Miami-Dade was the first state, in my knowledge, the first major city that ran a black business enterprise. After the riot, they ran a black business enterprise that made millionaires. Because part of the negotiations was to have training. Any person who could identify themselves as a black business owner, so they had to be black. 51% of the company had to be black, and they and they had to hire within the black. So not only the owners, but the entire staff had to represent the community. They got preferences, and they developed. And some of them got so big that they were able to compete, and some of them got so big that other companies bought them out and they retired.
Now the goal of a minority business enterprise is to be a prime contractor, correct?
The goal of the minority business enterprise is to reduce the disparity. That's the goal. I'm supposed to be working myself out of a job, because eventually there will be no disparity, therefore no need for a program. That's the truth. That is what.
Well, this still Maryland, and I think you're gonna have a job for a minute.
No, it is. As I said, when you look at it from like a case study in college, and you make a statement and you analyze and you do your research and you come to conclusions. If the state says that there is disparity, if the recommendations of the disparity study is approved, because you have to approve the recommendation to approve the disparity study. Therefore, the question is, now what? Let's implement it and see how it goes. Let's look at the numbers.
So
But
one
you
of the
said,
things is one of the recommendations getting black procurement officers, getting more black procurement officers?
black procurement officers won't make a difference.
It won't.
No.
What will make a difference? Following the recommendations of the disparity study. Well, I disagree with you because I think
No. Hold on. Let me qualify that statement.
Yeah.
If you look at the regulation, it talks about the procurement officer may, and they may not. Right? If you are doing a job and and you are not the owner, so you have a contract and you're working under a contract, and the person says, well, Donnie, you may come to work or you may not, as long as the work is done. You don't go to the office. You get the work done. You have the discretion. That power of discretion can be abused. Power, authority is given. Okay, respect is earned, authority is given, and power is taken. If you can do 50% of the work and get 100% of the salary, why are you going to do 100% of the work to get the same 100% of the salary?
What are you saying?
What I'm saying is,
you can get over. I mean, what are you saying?
No, what I'm saying is that if you give somebody a ability to do the minimum, do not expect.
How we get to that?
Because it says the procurement officer may, not that the procurement officer shall. It's in a word. If you shall ensure that the percentage of minorities in relationship to the business or the population gets work, then you'll find and assist and encourage those percentages to represent your outcome. Remember, when people push paper, they don't see faces, When I push paper, I see faces, I see families.
Let me ask you this. Do our delegates and state senators understand how the MBE program works? Do our delegates and state senators?
No.
So how do we better educate the 188 legislators that we have in Annapolis, many of whom are black?
Hopefully the new governor. Hold on. Hopefully the new governor, through the office of Goma, can set up a program to introduce each new legislation to but you see, it has to be what the program should be. It cannot be what the program is. So it has to be developed. Because what you have is that you can have public forum and discuss what the program should be and implement what the program is supposed to be, and then have your meeting with the legislation and say, this is what we need to do. If I do not have a roadmap, I cannot lead anybody anywhere because I don't know where I'm going.
I'm not sure enough of our black legislators understand the big picture. And the big picture is this. Part of their assignment as a black legislator, to me, is presumed that you understand that we need strong black businesses. Strong black businesses hire black people, and the owners of those companies can contribute to political campaigns. Isn't that just common sense?
Okay, yes, it's very clear, but common sense is not common. That's the oxymoron of the word.
Yeah, but common sense. If I'm in charge and I know where contracts are, like Marion Barry, we have no problem with white people getting paid. We want black people to get paid also. The same way, no BS, no hocus pocus, no magic tricks. The same way you dole out them contracts to the big white boys, we want to see them contracts doled out to the smaller black businesses too. And we don't
Okay.
want them to go through unnecessary stuff with some of
No.
them primes, because some of those primes are mean to black subs. They treat them real greasy, like they're a side piece. Like the Maryland Democratic Party has often treated black people. And so now that we have a black governor, we don't want that same old okie doke at all. Keep it.
I am a student of the program, so I always learn, as a consultant, this is the way I was taught. And I tell everybody, this is the way I was taught. So this is what I do. I am supposed to have the answer before you have the question. Do you understand what I just said?
Do you
So
understand the squeaky wheel get the oil? That's what I was.
Right. No, I understand that.
We don't get that oil. You give
No,
it.
I understand that. But hold on. But if you do not know how the game is played, you will never win the game. Remember no.
See that part right there. Stop the games. Listen.
No.
Let me say something. Let me say something, Alfred. We are tired of the game. Frankie Beverly and Mays, they have a famous song, Too Many Games. Too many games. See, when people need us, they need us. Hey, we need you. But when we need them, oh, you got to go to the state's website. Oh, you got to do this. It's not equitable.
That is why I'm saying the program that we have, as old as it is, has training in it. Where is the training?
Where is it?
That's the question. Because it's still written in there.
So the first thing that's missing is training.
Training. If you don't know how, there is a process. And if you are not informed of how the process works and why the process works, you will never be able to pass the first step.
We are not a side piece. We are not a side piece.
No, I'm not talking about. No. If I personally have a situation where a MBE bid a contract and wasn't awarded a contract. Because the paperwork wasn't right. So I went to the MBE. Hold on. I went to the MBE and I said, the reason after the contract was awarded and it started, it's all now,
You showed them what they did wrong.
No, I said, no. I said to them, the reason why you didn't get the contract is because your paperwork was wrong. Here is my card. Call me and we will sit down for half an hour and you get all the forms and I'll tell you how to fill out that form. That form will never, ever be rejected. That was 3 months ago.
You need to put your phone number out there. What's your phone number?
301.
See, we're going to help some people right today. And when y'all get them contracts, you make sure you get some tickets to my next event. I ain't playing with you. I'm going to send a German Shepherd looking for you. 301
590
590
5225.
5225. Alfred Isaacs.
Yes. But you see, so when you make a statement like that and they say yes, and you see them again and you say, what happened? I haven't had the time. Are you looking to bid another contract? Yes. No, you're not going to call me the day before and say you now need help.
And pay them. And pay. If you can help me get a contract, I'm supposed to pay. I'm supposed to bring the money when I come.
You're supposed to either bring the money when you come, or you ask me who my favorite charity is and you send it to them. Sometimes it's not about the money. Sometimes it's not about the money. You see, that's the problem. You see, I do what I do because I understand. And I tell people I understand that what I do, people do not see me out in front saying, hey, look what I did. No, that is not what you are there for. What you are there for is to help an individual become successful. Let's talk about the African man. It's to help African American man become successful. So he is the head of his household. So he can support his family. so he can have respect in the community, therefore in the county, therefore in the state, therefore in the nation. Where you go out and they say, where do you do business? I do business in Maryland. Oh man, you are so lucky. Why we can't say that with any state? So why we can't be the first? It's not that difficult. Maryland is one of the first states that ran a program. And when I came to Maryland, I asked a simple question. When I was told that, I said, good, are we the best? We are the first. Are we the best? That was 7 years ago, and I still can't get an answer.
Who is the best in the country with MBE? Florida?
No. Let me tell you, who has the best program right now? On paper? Texas. But they don't have any enforcement in it. When you look at the Texas program, it is well written. I mean, they got some intellects in there and wrote this thing. When you look at the enforcement, it is even not as good as ours. Their enforcement does not exist.
So why is it successful? It's successful because of political will?
No, it is successful because it's written to achieve. So it does everything except when it comes to enforcement, it is weak. There are too many. Then the compliance officer may, the compliance officer might, you put it in there and you say the compliance officer shall.
How is it the most successful?
You said, why? Because it actually brings everybody to the table. So if you are the prime, you can be successful. If you are the sub, you have a tendency of not getting support from the people who there are to support you.
Because quite often the white primes treat the black subs like side pieces. You know what a side piece is?
I know what a side piece is. I'm Jamaican.
That's somebody you treat any old kind of way. You hit it when you want to hit it. You see her when you want to see her. You call her when you want to call her. But she better not call you at your house.
Oh, yeah.
Because you know you got a main squeeze.
Yes.
So see, that's a whole lot of mental.
No. But you say, as I'm saying, is that it is, because I've looked at the programs. I've looked at a lot of programs. Because what you don't do is reinvent the wheel, because it's already done. You move from stone to wood to rubber. So you improve on the process. That's what I studied. I studied operations management, specializing in that's what I specialize in. I count steps, I count process.
Now, hold up, because you got that little slick patois accent. You say you go from stove to roof to rubber.
Wood. No, stone to wood to rubber. Same wheel. Look what are we driving on now? Rubber. We soon have developed another technology, and rubber is now like, that's a chariot.
Where that rubber come from?
The rubber tree.
Where the rubber trees at?
If I'm not mistaken,
all over West Africa.
Brazil. West Africa.
Brazil, huh?
Mm-hmm. Same,
a lot of us
same part of the equator.
A lot of us in the United States don't realize that the Spanish and the Portuguese were doing slavery down in South America 100, 150 years before they even made it up to the north with the British.
Brazil has more Afro-Brazilian, Afro-American. Is the largest group outside of Africa.
Largest
not the United States. It's the largest diaspora group outside of Africa is
2.5 times the number of black people in America.
Yes.
100 million black people down there, 40 million black people up here. That's enough to take over the world with a little unity. I'm just saying.
Well,
climbing Capitol walls and scaling the Capitol. I'm just saying, numerically, we could do a lot more than scale a wall.
Put it this way. 2 things as a consultant you have to consider. 2 things. Greed. That's one.
Greed?
Greed.
Like Donald Trump?
Okay,
He's very greedy. He
greedy.
greedy and he's stingy.
Well, that's part of it. If I don't give you yours, then I keep it. But and it's ego. No.
That's Donald Trump.
Okay. Greed is what caused the Titanic to sail. Ego is what caused it to sink. Cause when it started to take water, the the designer, the owner, the person whose name was on the document said that I'm going to go down with the ship and I'm going to sacrifice people. That's ego because it's not supposed to sink. No, greed would say, let's jump ship and build another one better. Be careful of the ego. The ego is what is worse than greed because greed is just about the money. Where there's money, there is greed. But where there's ego, that is where the problem is. If I believe that Jamaica is if I believe that Jamaica is the greatest country in the world, you cannot tell me anything about any other country in the greatness in which I think. But I'm in America. You see what I mean? That's the ego. No, the greed is this is a land of opportunity. Yes, there are processes that you have to go through. If you understand what the process is, you can make it. The people who have made it know what the process is, but the ego will not permit them to share it. That is it.
What did Marcus Garvey see that we
Marcus,
did not see here ourselves? He organized the largest number of Black people in the world. He came to America, had a Jamaican accent, very chocolate skin, but he was able to organize. And when I say that, I mean that's clearly not white. But he comes here and he helps organize. He organizes the largest organization of Black people in the world. What did Marcus Garvey know?
Marcus Garvey saw. Let me. I'm not. Let me. He saw the potential. No, why he saw the potential? Because you're coming from a British system of colonialism, which is subtle. He now comes to America and he looks at the Black Wall Street and he looks, New York, and he looks at these communities and he looks at Black people doing their thing and he says, yes, you have started something that we can duplicate, but you need to do more. He did the phrase one love, He did the phrase black is beautiful. I didn't know he was the one that said one of his speeches I saw, I was looking at something and they showed you. He said he ended it with one love, one destiny. What Bob Marley sing was Marcus Garvey. He was way behind his time because he saw the potential of what Black Americans were already doing. And what he was trying to do was to remove the ego and says, we one help one. And
now
you cannot.
Now you mentioned Bob Marley and all of that.
Yeah, Bob Marley used some of his lyrics in some of his songs.
Well, what is the significance of Bob Marley?
Bob Marley took the message and put it in music and became a musical prophet. So what Bob Marley says is still relevant today, mental slavery. If you do not believe you can become successful, you will not become successful because you now have an excuse built in.
Okay, I got a question for you that only a Jamaican man can answer. There's a song that says, root, naughty root, dread, dinky dread, I at the root. You know the song?
Yeah, I know the song.
What is dinky?
Dinky is an African term that I'd have to look up. In Jamaica, we use a lot of African words, and I just found out that quite a few of them came out of a tribe in Ghana. Lappy. Duppy is a spirit. So we use Jamaicans speak with a lot of African words. We just ignorant to know what it means. But we use it. We use it in the right content, but we don't know where it came from. But we know when we went to school, because we had to do British words, including word origin. So it was Irish, it was Latin, it was Roman, it was French, it was German. So when you look in American direction, just have the definition. You don't have where the word came from. And then you realize that other words came from that word, like disparity.
I'm getting ready to hit you with a tough question now. Did you know there were black pirates?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Who you think where the islands were in the Caribbean that you could hide?
Black.
Thank you.
Pirates. Black Caesar. In Florida, they got Black Caesar. Black Caesar, when they found him, had $6 million in silver in Biscayne Bay, Florida, Miami-Dade. Black Caesar. So the reason I raised the question, because Bob Marley in the song say, old pirates, yes, they rob I. But some of them pirates were black too.
Yeah, well, no. Okay, no, there are two different types of pirates. You know, there's the pirate that come and takes your gold, right? There are the pirates that take your gold, and then they free the slaves. Then there are the pirates that take your gold and look at the slaves as property. So the question is, which pirate was he talking about in which content? Because we know that they were black pirates because Port Royal was one of the most wickedest city in the world. Why? Because that's where all the pirates hung out. We have a natural deep sea harbor. You could ride right up to the unload. You didn't have the little boats coming back and forth. But when you go to Port Royal, you realize that some of the cannons were faced inland in case the British were attacked. In case the British were attacked by land from the Spanish. That's in our history. So yeah, you protect the port seaward, but you protect the rear just in case they come over. Remember, it's an island. Just in case they come over and try to hit you on the land side. So not only do you, I mean, when I was taught history, not only do you move forward, but you make sure that the rear guard in the military is one of the most important position in any navy.
You gotta watch
he
your back.
Protects the right now. So if you talk to the black community and you talk to a black business, and you say, okay, who is watching your back? Is your banker? Is your insurance company? Is your accountant? The people that you're hired to support you, are they protecting your back?
In case y'all missed it, he just mentioned bail. That's your banker, your attorney, your insurance person, your lawyer. Bail. Banker, your accountant, your insurance person, your lawyer. Bail for business.
Oh, I like that. I like that. But yeah, I will use that if you don't mind.
So, Alfred Isaacs the Great. We call you the greatest MBE advocate in America. You better put a plug in for your Jamaica homegirl, Michelle.
No.
You know she watching this show. She gonna talk mad smack if you don't acknowledge her. Michelle Howard, acknowledge.
Yes, Michelle. Good. I saw her recently, but she was too busy networking, so we just kind of looked at each other and nodded.
She introduced me to you.
Yeah. But you see, as I said, it's
Westmore need to bring her back from over there at WMATA and let her run MDOT.
Oh.
But she don't want to go all the way to DC. Give her enough money, she can come back to Baltimore and work out of Baltimore.
Well, you see. There are certain people. There are certain individuals. There are certain individuals that know.
Howard, MESHEL.
I know. Okay.
I'm saying it for the other people watching this show.
So they are individuals that have the correct ego. And I tell people this is why I do what I do. And I've always used this as an example, and I'll give it to you. I think I gave it to you already. There is a MBE, there's a black man starting a small business. He's an electrical company. So he's a contractor. He went to trade school and all of that stuff. So he couldn't get work, so he started his own business. There is a contract coming up and he decided as a prime because it is small. So he bids the contract and he's awarded the contract and he fulfills the obligation of the contract and therefore he can support his family. He wants to send his daughter to community college because she wants to be a doctor. With the $10,000 from the contract, he's able to afford her to go community college. She graduates from community college and gets a scholarship to university. She studies bio, gets a scholarship to medical school. She becomes a research scientist. She discovers the cure for cancer only because I helped her father get a contract and meet all the obligations of the contract. Therefore, this happened. That is why I do what I do. And there are people like me.
Don't you cry.
No.
I will laugh at you.
Who know? If given an opportunity, given good information, they can become successful and create a legacy. And it don't have to be wealth.
Okay, so
it does not have to be wealth.
You're trying to make me cry. What do you want? Say the governor is watching this show right now. What do I want?
What I want is the opportunity for our governor to say, I stand by the MBE program and we are going to make it work because it is good for the community, therefore it's good for the county, therefore it's good for the state, therefore it's good for the nation, where people will come to him and say, tell me how you did it.
You know,
and he said, I picked the right people.
To the White House.
Of course.
You know he's going to the White House.
Of course. But people are going to look back and say, what did you do as governor?
You straighten out the MBE program in the state of Maryland, and he got a lot more Marylanders than the federal 8A program. We only got
and he got he got successful MBEs. We now move for him to move them into federal contracting.
Tell him about federal contracting. What is federal contracting? What is the federal 8A program?
The federal 8A program is a small business 8A program, which is basically it's a set aside. There's a size requirement. It's supposed to help you to increase your capacity because contracts are set aside only for 8A recipients. It's similar to our small business reserve, but different, where they have to utilize a certain percentage of contracts set aside to help small business grow. No, not all minorities are small businesses. So it's supposed to help you develop where you can now compete on the open market.
But you only get to stay in it for 8 years, right?
Yes, but there's a way back in. If you understand, when I say the game, you have to understand that every game has a game book. Watch football, watch basketball, they talk about the game book. This is what we're going to do on this play. If the situation arises, you go to play 7-4-7. If it doesn't, you go 7.
Seems like you can make a lot more money outside of government than inside government.
No.
Why would you want to work for government? Why would you want to help people? Why? Why not take your knowledge and go start your own company? Work for somebody else.
Why would I? Why? Because first of all, government has the largest spender in the world. Every government spends more than ever, right? One thing. And the truth is, and I said that somebody, I said, my kids, first generation American, when they're driving, they're just another black person. Nobody says to them, oh, Oh, I didn't realize you're first generation American. I'm so sorry.
They just see a black
You're
man.
not a. They just say a black man and a black woman. Simple.
They don't care if you're
Simple.
from Ghana or from Georgia, you're black.
No, you're black.
If
Because
you're
no,
Jacksonville or Jamaica, you're black.
until you open your mouth, and in some states it don't really make a difference, they'll treat you accordingly. So, I tell them, you manage your perception, you do the best you can, and you understand the environment that you are in, which is most important. There are times you have to keep quiet and listen. I mean, I gave them the talk on you're driving. When you get stopped, this is what you do. Everything the police officer says, you repeat. Driver's license. I'm reaching for my driver's license. It's in my back pocket. Is that okay, officer? You walk the process.
No. I'm not reaching for nothing. No, my hand's right here.
No. No, because when he says, give me you have to tell him where the driver's license is.
The keys, what they say, put the keys on top of your car. My hand's right here. Nope. I ain't reaching for nothing.
Different experience. I've always walked through the process with them. Is this okay? Yes. But the first thing I do when I just turn on.
I'm trying to reach out young people.
But you have to understand the circumstances you are in, the environment, and act accordingly.
Yes,
the object is to reach over life.
You want to survive
in everything you do. In everything you do, one thing I have learned is in a conference, you always want to be the last to speak. Always.
Why?
Because you hear what everybody else's opinion is, and you know how to address it.
Something different.
And you can get a different perspective when you shut up and listen to other people.
Yeah, I will agree.
Hear yourself talk.
I will agree, provided people are not leaving the conference, provided the previous speakers are not so boring and people are just getting up and leaving. Because I don't want no empty audience.
That has happened too, but sometimes
4 or 5 people. Listen, I got to get out of here. You better let me speak now.
But you see, sometimes when that happens and you speak, and they go back and say, "Boy, Donnie came after you, man," and trust me, we had him going, and even when the conference was over, we surrounded him and we spoke to him. That was the best thing that ever happened. Thank you for inviting me.
Just go with the Holy Spirit. God gonna let you know when to speak.
But yeah, there is talking about Maryland. There is a great opportunity to become great, to become whatever you want it to be, or just to be the same.
I gotta ask you, how is your daughter's media career coming along? I know the feeling.
She's doing well. But no, what I'm saying is that she's doing well, but every time she speaks, they say you need to be an attorney. You present like an attorney. You're very, critical and critical thinking and thing.
Well, but she can work here and help us until she gets to the next level.
Okay, I'll let her know. But yeah, the question is, Donnie, the question is, if not now, when? When do the God's smile stars line up? When do we have a black governor and we have a majority black legislation? Never before.
Majority Democrat legislature, and yes, Democrats dominate, so there should be no excuse. We got the House of Delegates, we got the state Senate. There should be no excuse whatsoever. I expect more progress than the past several Democratic governors.
The question is,
well, they got Paris Glendenning helping too. And I see some positive in that. Anytime you got a former quarterback helping the current quarterback, I don't see that as a bad thing. He can tell him how he did it. Experience. But listen, it's 10 o'clock. I want to thank you for coming out. I hope that we did your reputation justice. And I hope that we showed love for the people of Jamaica. Wagwan.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. But as I said, if somebody calls me and asks me, but I'm gonna say to you, this is what I need from you. And if you can't give me what I need, then you can't get what I have because there is no exchange. There's no value being passed. I'm not going to how to do it. I'm going to tell you why you need to do it so you can go and duplicate it. I'm not going
That's
to
all
fish
we
for
have
you.
time for, Mr. Alfred. We got to
I'm
run,
going to
big
teach
brother.
you how to fish. Okay, later.
Love and respect. Thank you. Good morning.